All right, we are back with our NFL college football recap show. We have a 4-man group today. We have Grant on, of course. Connor's on for his first time on the NFL show. And then from the First Team Second String podcast, lucky enough to be a guest. Go like, subscribe. Go do what you got to do. Follow them on TikTok. Bryan Valladares. Bryan, how are you?
I'm great. Victory Monday. I'm in Club Dub. It's rare for a Niners fan to be in Club Dub, so I'm excited to be here.
Dude, must be nice. Must be nice as a Panthers fan. But real quick before we start, Duke, biggest win in college basketball this year. Take a little victory lap for myself. I called the game on the dot last week's podcast, Connor. Did I not?
I can vouch. Carter was spot on with the Timmy stats, with the way the game was going to play out. I got to give him his props. As a Carolina fan, I got to give Carter his props on that one. He was spot on.
All right, yeah. There we go. Let's move on. NFL. Bryan, do you want to take your victory lap with the Niners beating the Vikings?
Yeah, I'll take a slight victory lap. Just like we said it right before, like the Super Bowl run is back on. It feels funny to say that, even though I admitted that we have no chance to win the Super Bowl. It feels good to say, just as a fan. I love saying stupid stuff like that. And also when Kirk Cousins lines up under the right guard, that is some of the most incredible football. You see Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch is sick, but have you seen Kirk Cousins try to get a snap from the right guard? That to me is the best play in football all year. So I thought it was great. And I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Niners?
Well, Kirk Cousins getting under the right guard, it's two steps away from the butt fumble. It's not quite the butt fumble,
it's
but
butt fumble-esque.
Yeah, it's right there at the butt fumble.
Could you imagine if it was a primetime game? Could you imagine if it was Chris Collinsworth being like, "Oh no, Kirk Cousins,"
or even Tony Romo? I don't know, Jim.
It's a bold take on that one, man. It's a bold strategy to take from the right guard. But I mean, on my end, man, the 49ers are that team that we talked about this a little bit beforehand. Jimmy G's that dude that just gets them there. The consistency of just you can't bench the guy, man. So it's you're like you said, you're stuck in a rock and a hard place. You're just in this weird spot. And as a Falcons fan, I kind of get it. It's you can't move on from it. But what do you do here, right? So it's the future development's kind of sacrificed, but you're kind of winning. So you're in this weird middle ground where you don't know if you want to keep winning or you want to keep. It's just weird. So I kind of feel for you there. A lot of teams are kind of in that spot there this year in the NFL. So. I definitely see where, as a Niners fan, it's great to win, but you're also, this is kind of concerning because what's the future here?
Yeah. I just want to say one more thing. I've heard the take, it's robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're going to, maybe we win 9, 10, 11 games. And then next year, none of these guys have gotten enough playing time. And then we're going to be like, what the fuck? And everyone's going to be like, we got to fire Kyle Shanahan. And 49ers winner is going to be a horrendous place again. But yeah, so go ahead.
Bryan, I want your take on Brandon Ayuk and how he started the year, because he was coming into this year. He was, projected to be pretty good, and then he kind of slumped for a little bit. And he's kind of come back on the last couple of games. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really interesting, Brandon, because everyone was trying to figure out why he's not getting playing time, to the point of when Trent Sherfield, who somehow in preseason looked like Antonio Brown, even up to the wrist guard, and you were like, this guy, maybe that's why. And then it turns out Brandon Ayuk is just out there partying maybe a little too much, not doing the stuff in practice that he's supposed to do. And Kyle Shanahan's very old school and was like, yo, dude, I'm just not going to play you. And now, he's saying all the right things and doing all the right things in the press conferences. And, because of that, he's yesterday, I think he got three passes over 20 yards or more. Mm-hmm. So he's coming up, and, we're looking good. We're first team all yak again, which I love. So that's where I stand on Brandon Ayuk.
Okay.
Well, what do you think? Oh, sorry.
Well, the Niners are weird.
I can see them
going to the NFC Championship, no problem.
For sure.
I can see them winning
another game. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They could go winless or go on a deep run, because that's what Niners football is all about.
Let's move on a little bit. Are the Pats the best team in football?
Easily.
Are they?
I mean, it kills me.
They are the only consistent team right now. It's them and the Bills. And I guess you could say the Panthers. Panthers keep losing. They're consistent.
We're consistently bad. Yeah.
I love that, Grant. As a Falcons fan, I love that that like it kills me. It kills everybody. My girlfriend and her family, all massholes. They're all from Massachusetts. And so all I hear constantly about is how good they are. I went to SoFi and watched them play when they were in town because my girlfriend's family, they wanted to go. So we went. And after I saw them, I genuinely thought they were the team of destiny. I genuinely think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. I don't see any weaknesses. I don't know what you guys see, but they don't have any game breakers besides Juden. But like for the most part, like everything they're doing is just they're doing their job. It's unbelievable.
I just want to see one game. I mentioned this on your podcast, Brian. I want to see one game where they're down 14-0 and see what happens.
Well, like, isn't this what they do every year, right? Like, this is like Patriots football. It's like everyone just does their job, right? Like Kyle Van Noy, our boy Kyle Van Noy, we obviously know all of you guys in the league. Literally on the the Lions is a nightmare. They cut him basically. Then the Patriots get him. They turn him into this amazing linebacker, wins multiple titles, obviously Super Bowls with them, and goes to the Dolphins, pretty average, doesn't really do anything, comes back and is literally the same type of play. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you plug and play these pieces and they're just incredible. And we talked about this last week, Carter. We're like, out of all the quarterbacks, did any of the rookie quarterbacks have to go to the same role? The only one was Mac Jones. Mac Jones is the only one that went from like the game manager, I do my 111, that's it, but I do it so well, and is the only rookie quarterback that's doing the exact same role in the NFL. So I kind of attribute some of their success to that, to be honest.
Just hurts for me because I just have never liked the Patriots. And even on our, NFL preview podcast, I think that was the last football one I was on with you, Brian and Carter, I was down on the Patriots. I was like, this is going to be a horrible year for them, rebuild, whatever. And here they are just coming out blazing in the second half of the season. So it just hurts me from a fan perspective to see them continually be good, even when they lose these pieces. I don't know. It's annoying.
I don't know if they're good yet. I think they're good, but
they're good.
Who do they play next week?
They think they play the Colts next week, or did they just play the Colts?
No. Bucks played the Colts.
But I think they play the Colts the next week. They play the Bills twice. They
play the Bills next.
They genuinely
Monday night.
I don't know. I saw Dan Orlovsky throw some out on Twitter about what they do on offense and defense. And, it's like Grant was saying, it's plug and play. Like these guys, they read everything to like, it really is so impressive. It's crazy. They're just coached up so well. I mean, I watch Do Your Job. I'm a football dork. Like I really genuinely love football. I watch Do Your Job like once a year just because it gets me fired up. Like I watch like Brian Flores is he's like my people. He's Honduran like me. So like I just get fired up watching. And then like it's every single detail for like all these guys. Sims talks about it. Anybody who's ever spent any time in there talks about it. Kendrick Bourne looks like a legit wide receiver too. Kendrick Bourne on the Niners looked like a bench bum. It doesn't make any sense, but he goes out there and he's catching in between two defenders. It just doesn't make any sense. And they managed to make the most out of whatever these guys have. It's really incredible.
I can realistically see them winning 4 of the last 5 games. If they beat the Bills once, they'll win 4 out of 5. Because it's the Bills twice, the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Jags. It's like that's not that hard of a schedule.
Are the Dolphins bad?
They're okay, I think.
I think they're mediocre.
Because they're playing for their lives right now because they have no first-round pick.
Yeah.
And the Panthers hit them at the worst spot possible.
Brian, were you pulling for Brian Flores against the Panthers this weekend?
I think I bet. It was so stupid. I bet against Brian Flores, and I said I'll never bet against Brian Flores. But like,
yeah, you had the Panthers, didn't you?
Yeah, I had the Panthers, and I regretted that. That was Brian Flores. That was a spike game. If you don't know, it was a spike game.
The spike games are where you get burned the most in betting, though. That's just how it goes. The spike games always come back to haunt you.
All right, well, Connor, let's talk about the Panthers.
I mean, I don't really know how to describe it other than just a dumpster fire because the game itself obviously was horrible. Cam looked bad, but is it his second game as a starter back this year? So like, what do you really expect from him? But what really just upset me the most is what happened yesterday and today with like the press conferences.
The press conferences are horrendous. They are so bad.
Matt Rule comes on there and says, "Oh, McCaffrey's ankle doesn't look too bad, or his injury's not too bad at all," and they come out and say he's out for the season today, like 12 hours later.
The tank season's in full effect. McCaffrey's out. Panthers are done. They're toast. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to win their last 4 games, however much it is.
Our boy Dean Jones and Cat Crave was talking about how you just can't trust anything our coaching staff says, and that's like a horrible spot to be in.
No, it's Grant. Grant, we talked 2 weeks ago, right after the what game did we win? Cardinals.
Yep, the Cardinals game. Yep.
Yeah, we're talking about the Cardinals game. It's like, oh, let's wait. Let's see on this coaching staff. We're back. It's over. I don't care. I don't care if we make the playoffs.
I love how hot and cold it is.
It's
so
over.
hot and cold with Cutter. I love it.
No, but it's over. I knew it was over then, but I blinded myself. It's over. Joe Brady has to go. It's so bad. It's so bad. They're the ones who wanted Teddy Bridgewater. Joe Brady and Matt Rule wanted Teddy Bridgewater. Gave him 3 years, $60 million. That is a joke. That is an absolute joke. And then this franchise, what they keep trying to do, it's David Tepper's trying to be Jerry Jones Jr. They keep trying to do these expensive fix. Let's say you have a really expensive fix on your car, but you're just like, I'll just put some duct tape on it. It'll be fine. You just keep putting duct tape. It works for a few days and then it falls off again. You're like, eventually I just got to pay the price and just do the full rebuild. They're doing this half all in, half rebuild thing. It'll never work. It's putting us in a worse position. No, we're not. CJ Henderson's been a terrible trade. Stephon Gilmore, I don't know what he's even doing.
They haven't used him the right way.
No, not at all. Everything is a dumpster fire right now. The Panthers are done for the next 2 years unless something dramatic happens.
Y'all use Cam Newton like the Flex Seal, bro. Like that commercial.
Yeah, literally. Cam Newton was Flex Seal. That's so good. That's so good.
Y'all using that Flex Seal every time you can. I'm just going to catch up on you, man.
They signed him, started him. The fan base got pretty excited for a little while.
Is Steve Smith going to get signed next? I mean, it's at this point. They're just like, if it sells tickets, why not?
Yeah.
I'm confused, though. I'm confused as to because this team, all things considered, on defense, when you look at the advanced metrics, when you look at their EPA, they're top 5, or they were top 5. And so it's really confusing. And like, I'm not watching as many Panthers games as I was last year. I think partly is because like I didn't like Sam Darnold, and so I stopped watching, and then all the other games were more interesting. But I'm so confused as to what happened. Like, what happens on offense schematically where you guys are like, fire Joe Brady? Because last year
it wasn't there on offense either, though. Last year.
Yeah, that's true. That is fair. But
it was never there on offense, because the second it was 3rd and 7 or longer, the drive's dead. Teddy Bridgewater cannot convert 3rd and 7. It's just, he's allergic to it. It's like Shaquille O'Neal hitting free throws.
It is tough. I mean, I just make the point that Teddy Bridgewater, it's so strange to me. Teddy Bridgewater is a phenomenon. And like, I've tweeted out at Ben Baldwin, who's part of The Athletic, and I've been like, because he has a deep analytics like NFL Faster, like he like created and all that. And I've been like, hey, explain Teddy Bridgewater, please, because Teddy Bridgewater he's 2nd or 3rd in EPA and completion percentage over expectation. I don't understand how that's possible, because like, and it's supposed to take in context. And I see this dude dinking and dunking his way, and somehow the Chargers stink. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. Teddy Bridgewater is a phenomenon to me.
I just don't know. He's having success this year. I just don't know. Like, we had weapons around Teddy Bridgewater last year. We had DJ Moore. We had Robbie Anderson. McCaffrey was hurt. But even if McCaffrey was there, I don't think it would have been that much different for him, at least. I don't know.
We were going 8-8. If Teddy Bridgewater is 8-8, that's all he is.
Yeah.
I said on our preview show, if I could just bet as much money as I could on the Broncos going 8-9 this season, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah.
What do y'all think the hardest transition is for college coaches coming to the NFL? Like, I'm trying to pinpoint it because
it's that weird spot where it's so weird because like, you can't be that rah-rah guy. That ends. It's kind of like college basketball to the NBA, where you just like, you don't have as much control over these guys.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also just talent, like the talent in the NFL. Like, you play college schedule, you're probably, if you're one of the better coaches in college and you get hired to the NFL, you probably didn't play every single game was against top tier talent. So you come to the NFL and you're playing every single game against NFL talent.
Like Urban Meyer said, every week's Alabama.
Exactly. Yeah. And my roommate Chip was talking to me just right before this, talking about Joe Brady, because he also wants Joe Brady gone. He was saying, it's easy to look good with the best recruits in the nation against these cupcake schools or against like lesser tier schools, coming to the NFL, a whole different ballgame.
He had arguably 2 of the top 7 receivers in the NFL in college and top 10 quarterback, maybe. I don't know what you guys think of Joe Burrow, but
I love Joe Burrow.
Yeah, like everybody loves Joe Burrow.
Me and Bryan are on the same boat. Like, I love Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's so great. I was about him. But like I was about him in last year as a rookie. Like they were asking him to do so much. I don't know if I like Zach Taylor though. I don't know.
That's a weird thing, isn't it?
Burrow was running for his life last year though. It's hard to get like a
Zach Taylor. It almost feels like, you know how like Mark Jackson had that Warriors team going, and then Steve Kerr came in and took him to the next level. Seems like Zach Taylor's Mark Jackson right now, and someone's going to come in and take the Bengals to that next level.
It's a good take.
I love that. That's a great take. Yeah, I fuck with that take.
But back to the Panthers. Just shut down everything. Let's just become a soccer team. That's like
Charlotte FC.
Charlotte FC. Yeah.
Is Charlotte FC good?
They're starting in March 5th or whatever. February.
Let's go.
Inaugural year.
Don't think I think our only like named player is Christian Fuchs from Leicester City. So
okay. It feels like there's 100 MLS teams, right? Am I wrong?
I think there's 30 now, right?
It's like 27, 28.
I genuinely thought there was like 45. There's so many. Like I don't know how many.
Well, there's also the second division, which is like weirdly big, like the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Louisville has a huge team. They're like the New York Cosmos. There's a bunch of stuff. Louisville has like a second division team. That's they get like
show
fans.
Up to games.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Rowdies had a game. What was it? Like 2 days ago, sold out. Second division soccer.
I didn't know Louisville got a bunch of Mexicans to
come into the city
and work the fields. What happened?
Mi gente, bro. Just get all our people here. I love it.
But no, I mean, this is kind of like college football right here. If you're LSU, do you hire Matt Rule? Because I don't think that's a bad hire. I think he's
I kind of like the hire, to be honest.
I kind of like it because I think he's a genuinely good college coach. Or does he feel like he's just James Franklin?
I don't know what to say about that because I'm just not a Matt Rule fan. And if he goes back to college, I'm sure he'd do fine if he goes back to college. So like I wouldn't hate it, I guess.
I feel like the type of players that you recruit to go to LSU are not going to vibe with Matt Rule because they're going to look at Matt Rule as he and maybe everybody most college players these days don't watch NFL like Kadarius Toney. He's like I don't watch it, so maybe that goes into your favor. But I don't know. Something tells me like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, if you got hired and they were still at LSU, they'd be like, why am I going to listen to you, bro? Like you can't win with like Cam Newton. You can't win with, that defense.
Christian
you can't win with these guys. You can't win with Christian McCaffrey, which by the way, are you guys out on Christian McCaffrey?
I don't know. Is he made of glass?
Well, I think there's a little like underlying thing going on here. I think he's like, I don't want to waste my time if we're going to tank. I think that was upper management call saying, hey, let's keep this guy healthy for trades.
Yeah, I feel like if we were 3 or 4 more games in the winning column, he'd be back in 2 weeks.
If we were 500, I think he's playing.
You think? Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that one's weird. It's kind of like last year because like last year he could have came back, but
it just sucks for Cam Newton though because now the rest of the year, if he continues to start, he just has less around him now. It's probably gonna look worse. So then these people are gonna be like, "Oh, Cam sucks. He's washed."
I know
he's not the best, but
everybody's tweeting out like Cam Newton's the worst. All this is like, what are you gonna do, man?
Connor, that's the hill I'm dying on. Cam Newton is not washed. I'll die on that hill.
I don't think he is either.
He's not. He's not.
You guys want him on the Niners?
I would take him on the Niners over Jimmy Garoppolo.
We'll take a left tackle. We'll take a left tackle.
No, that's our guy. If you gave me the option, if somehow I do genuinely think that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up in Indianapolis somehow. I don't know how. I mean, I just don't think Carson Wentz is that good. Maybe Carson Wentz is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but I would love for Cam Newton to be my quarterback. I mean, we just run the ball more. He still throws it in the same area of the field.
He's fun to have as your quarterback. I will say that. Especially compared to Sam Darnold and effing 2 gloves.
Sam Darnold, bro.
2 gloves, dude. 2 gloves.
I mean, I don't think Cam's an MVP, but he's not as washed up as people claim for him to be. There's just no way.
there's a stat or like there's a stat. If you look at Tom Brady in 2019 and Cam Newton in 2020, who both played on the Patriots in those years, their numbers are identical.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really hard to win with dudes that that are really bad in the skill or like that are whatever in the skill position.
What's wrong with the Cowboys? I think John mentioned it perfectly. Something's up with Dak.
It looks as if he's not 100%, right? Like,
yeah, it's almost there, like mentally now too.
And they also haven't had a full receiving corps in the last however long because Michael Gallup just came back and then Amari Cooper didn't play. And now CeeDee Lamb's dealing with injuries. So it's just like a lot of rotating, no consistency really.
But anybody huge Shannon Sharp guys? Or like Stephen A. Smith guys? Because that's just, it's going to be a fuel storm for those guys. For the internet. The internet.
Yeah, he loves the Cowboys. You already know he's already got his tweets ready for it. I mean, it's like that, and then also the Rams. The same situation going on with the Rams, right? Like ever since they tweeted out all in, right? It's been a nightmare for them. What, 4 straight losses? Is that right?
3
straight losses.
There are some there are some guys, there's some guys who are like older and they're like, once they traded for OBJ, went downhill. Like there are those takes out there.
That's Facebook NFL stuff right there.
That's Facebook NFL energy.
That's true.
What about that game last night? I thought that was gross.
I don't even want to talk about it. Like
go ahead, Brian.
I was just gonna say I was on the Ravens and the under. I didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. But so I can't stay away. Even today, I don't even know. I think I'm on Seattle, but I missed it. I missed my window and it was like minus 125. So now I'm like, should I take Washington plus 2.5? You know what I mean? Like this game is horrible. There's legit people who are like, I'm not even going to gamble on that game. And they're like, they're actual degenerates. And I'm like, I think I'm going to figure it out.
Well, I was going to make a comment. Lamar looked horrible. I'm not.
That's the thing. You're guaranteed that Lamar game every 4 to 5 games, and it always pops up in the playoffs. That's why I was about to say playoffs. Like they'll never win.
Yeah, I just don't know if he'll. I don't know if he'll lead a team to the Super Bowl. He is an amazing player, but I just don't know if he can consistently have those good games in the playoffs and not have one of those dud games and lose. I don't know.
Yeah. Last thing, real quick. Packers look good. I mean, they look like this. They're probably the Super Bowl favorite right now, right?
It's the defense for me, man. That's been the night and day difference for me. I mean, it's unreal. Like their defense is playing at such an elite level right now. Like, would anybody have expected that this year? I for sure did not expect the defense to play like this.
Especially after week 1, their DVOA, if you look at it, excluding that game, like it goes from 12th to 8th. Like that's how bad that week 1 game was for the Packers. It's like they just shoot up. 4 spots.
Taking out the Saints debacle, basically.
They're like a top 10 defense, And jeez. I just, not for nothing, Aaron Rodgers really does look like he's married to Shailene Woodley, right? Like I've never seen a dude look more like he's married to Shailene Woodley. Like everything about him screams like I live in Ojai. I participate in orgies. He's just a changed dude.
His eyes during games, like I want to know what that dude's on. That's
hilarious.
That dude could
ivermectin, dude.
Anything. He sure enough could be. He could go through any situation and be completely fine, like unfazed by it. Like whatever that dude's on, he's legit like Iron Man. It's impossible to break him.
He's got a story about how he took like whatever that shit is they drink in Mexico. What are they? Oaxaca?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like they drink that and they like trip out over.
Oh,
Mexico.
You're talking about oh shoot, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mexican.
Yeah,
Coke?
yeah. No.
No, it's like
I'm gonna remember after this. I'm gonna be super pissed off too. It's not it's ayahuasca. That's what you're talking about.
I guarantee you, he's got an ayahuasca story. He's like, I guarantee you, he's like, brother, I've been there 3 times. You know what I mean? He's like,
he's on ayahuasca during the game. He's seeing all
bro.
sorts of different things going on in the field. That's why he sees the field like nobody else does. He's the only one supplementing his game plan with ayahuasca. Let's just be honest here.
They got to be careful though, because Mason Crosby's going to lose them the game.
Dude, True. What happened to Mason? I kept thinking because I live bet the Packers. Mm-hmm. The line like jumped to 5.5, and I was like, I think the Packers are gonna like really win this over 5 and over like by a touchdown or more. So I jumped on that, and Mason, I like paid attention more when Mason Crosby was up to kick. I was like, yo, bro, like when did you suck? When did you turn into ass? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that might come back to bite him in the playoffs or one of these close games at the end of the season. I don't know. Something I noticed.
All right, let's talk about college football. Big news: Lincoln Riley goes to USC. Any thoughts on anybody?
I do have. I mean, this is
hold up.
I got like 20 thoughts on this. But
you guys keep going. I'm going to pull up the contract and read it to the people.
Okay. When do you want me to spiel my take as a UCLA fan,
or
as like an objective?
No, UCLA fan.
Yeah,
as a UCLA fan, I think it's disgusting. I think he's disgusting. I think it's cowardice to leave your to leave your school like that quickly. Like there's kids out there, there's boosters and parents he needs to think about. Like, what does this move do for the relationship of his kids and their friends? Like, I don't know. I think it's a selfish, disgusting, despicable move. I think the NCAA should suspend him immediately. I think the Pac-12 should do something about this.
Jail?
And I
jail?
think
Pac-12, Brian, jail. Pac-12 celebrating.
If LeBron didn't get jail, LeBron and Lincoln Riley could be prison mates.
I mean, 100%. And I think like Caleb Williams, like since he's going to be in the neighborhood, he could find a home in Westwood, and he could, in the meantime, while he's waiting for what happens with Lincoln Riley, he could play for the UCLA Bruins. We're going to lose a really shitty quarterback, DTR. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him play. It's atrocious. And take the rest of those recruits. That's what I think. But that's just me. What do I know? I'm just a UCLA fan.
All right, let me read the contract real quick. USC contract details. All right, $110 million. USC buying both his homes in Norman for $500,000. That's his Norman home, and asking for over $1 million bonus. Plus, they're buying his $6 million home in Los Angeles for him. And the big one, unlimited use of the private jet 24/7 for the family.
So they just have like a pilot on standby, like 24 hours a day, just like, Mr. Riley, do you need to go anywhere? Do you need to travel
hold
somewhere?
up. They're buying both of his houses in Norman because he was buying. Price. Yeah, and he was building a second one. They're buying that one too.
Wow. So this must have been like spur of the moment, I guess.
This has been in the works for months.
They just kept adding stuff. They're just like, all right, what else can we add in here? They're like, all right, we're going to buy this house. He's like, I don't know. I think you should buy a second house.
He was like,
I can push this further.
This LSU rumor can keep going.
I think he got himself so deep into this contract with just adding random stuff, especially like this. He's like, let's see if I can add a $6 million mansion on here and see if they'll pay for that. And then when they did,
I wonder what they said no to. I want to know what they said no to.
Like his own zoo, like literally, like what possibly could they have said no to? They did everything for this dude. I will say this. I don't know if this confirms that he also thinks that OU and Texas going to the SEC is a terrible idea, but I've heard conflicting things. I've heard that he was a part of those, talks basically to get them to the SEC, but I also think he's looking at his fan base saying these guys hate the fact they're not happy with the fact that we're winning the Big 12 basically every year. Obviously not this year, but almost every single year, going to the playoff and losing. There's no way I'm going to be able to replicate this in the SEC. There's no way he could replicate the same success. For sure. There's no way. I feel like he was looking at the writing on the wall and was like, I'm going to take as much money as I possibly can and go to the Pac-12. And Brian, I feel bad for your UCLA boys with Chip Kelly and all that good stuff going down. But like the Pac-12, this is a huge victory for the Pac-12 because this is the best.
And a huge victory for BYU, the new Pac-12 champs.
Yeah, shout out our Cougs, bro. Shout out our Cougs, which you fans are hating, by the way, on Twitter. They are melting down. It's like, bro, the more you melt down, the more it makes it funny. That's so funny. Talking about this.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Like they're the worst fan base in the world. They're the worst. I mean, our fan base has its issues too, but man, they're the worst. But I will say this is the best thing that could possibly happen to the Pac-12 because I really feel like it was getting stagnant, like super stagnant. I still hold on to the belief that the Big Ten is going to come scoop up UCLA, USC, like Washington, and like who else was thinking of? Another one of the big four, Oregon, of course, Oregon. Those four, I still think they're going to take up those big market schools just because they're like, I still think that's going to happen in the future. I think UCLA is in a great spot because they're kind of that great partner with USC with all that history. But man, like I feel like this is just the best thing that could happen to the Pac-12 because it's been pretty rough stuff that they've had these past couple of years, and obviously this is a super down year as well. So like this is a home run for them. It's a home run for USC. Could not have been better. Obviously, they threw the kitchen sink at the guy. But I do think it confirms some issues that like Lincoln Riley was thinking about the SEC. That's just me personally.
Can I just want to just give my take really fast. In all seriousness, I do think that it's the best thing that Lincoln Riley can do, in the sense that he's going straight to where the recruits are. Yeah. Like the best, like Bryce Young, JT Daniels, who's not even playing for Georgia anymore, but
CJ Stroud's down there, wasn't he?
He's back up. CJ Stroud, the quarterback who just decommitted from Oklahoma, on top of DJ Yelewu. Mm-hmm. They all were from California, and like those are where the guys are. And if you can make USC relevant, they're gonna go there. Like USC's campus is on, like USC's campus is way nicer than UCLA's campus. UCLA's, the rest of the outside is incredible. It's amazing. Yep. But USC's campus is a goddamn, fantasy land. It's beautiful. And, if you can get the student down there and you can get them to the practice facility and you can show them the Coliseum, is sick.
Pull the old Rick Pitino, take him to a party,
Yeah, exactly. Take him to a party.
Hire a little outside help.
You just got to get them out of the ghetto, and then all of a sudden it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory right there in the middle. It is dope. The campus is amazing. Yeah. But I'm telling you, that is like scary and then like literally amazing. That's what it goes to.
Yeah. But like if you can get these kids, like if you can get these student athletes, if you can get, or not student athletes anymore, I guess, I don't know, the NCAA, whatever. But if you can get these dudes, like you got something.
Yeah.
And it sucks for me because I don't know if I was an athlete, if I was a linebacker who could really play at the next level, and Chip Kelly like sat down and like gave me a spiel, and then Lincoln Riley gave me a spiel. Like I'm gonna choose Lincoln Riley over the dude who like has a weird tone of voice. You know what I mean? Like it's just horrible. This is horrible for as a UCLA fan. But that's why I say we're a basketball school first anyway. So whatever.
Well, I saw something just real quick. They were like, somebody on Twitter was like, it really shows the difference between living in Oklahoma and then living rich in California in that area. Like I'm sure that played into it. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to be a norm in Oklahoma?
Well, USC's that school, man, where they like want you to be Hollywood just as much as your head coach. It's weird, man. Like they have to have that. That's why like Ed O never worked out there. Like he is so not
the greatest
Hollywood.
Interim head coach of all time.
Besides bringing his girlfriend's kids, letting them do practice drills. That's about as Hollywood as it gets. But
tell me you wouldn't do that, Grant. Tell me you would not do that.
That's such a great move.
I ain't hating it, man. That's the most baller move I've ever heard. But could you imagine prepping for Bama and having some 5-year-old kid like doing the drill in front of you? Like this is ridiculous.
Before you go on, how funny would it be if Coach O ended up at Duke?
Is that the most unappealing job in college football? Because I think it is. Is that like
gotta be
the least appealing job in college?
Dude, why does Duke have a like 50,000 seat like a big stadium and like brand new remodeled and everything? Dude, there's like 10 people there.
The inside of their football center is nice as hell. Like I go there when I work there sometimes. It's so nice. And I'm just like, they suck. Like I feel like Duke should be better.
I sat front row at Duke Wake Forest a couple years ago. Front row behind the bench for $7.
That's bad.
Like
they like have to entice people to come to games. Like they are begging people to come.
Are you ready for this? I went to UCLA USC last week. The seats that I sat at which by the way were a gift, so I got lucky. The seats that I sat at, which weren't at the front row, they were like the beginning of the 300 section, which is a really good seats. Like it's still like I'm still able to see everything, OJ's jersey and everything. I can see it really nice, everything, right? Those seats were $500.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got lucky. Like I like in a million. I just got lucky. But
yeah, man, that's the difference between ACC football, man.
But like to like everybody's like Lincoln Riley's going out there, and there's like Steven Spielberg, I think, went to USC, or Judd Apatow or somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if those guys even care.
Yeah, Spielberg I think has like some stuff on campus, like with like their like theater stuff. Yeah, like their movie stuff. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
But anyhow, let's move on from Lincoln Riley real quick. Billy Napier goes to Florida. I don't know if that's really news or not.
I love that move, by the way. I'm all about it. Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's an investment?
That dude has been waiting for the right job. He's had multiple SEC job offers and he's turned them down. he hasn't found the right job, but I think that's the right fit for him. Like that dude can coach. He knows he could win. Obviously at the University of Louisiana, like he was like chilling. Like he was in a happy spot, right? But I love that hire for Florida. I think he's the right guy. I think he's going to be able to recruit. I think he's.
You think Anthony Richardson stays?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Because I think if he stays, he wins the Heisman. He's up there for the Heisman. That dude is good.
I'm just telling you, man.
Scary good.
That hire's good. Like I'm calling him now. He's going to be solid for Florida.
Grant, can I ask you something? Oh, sorry, Carter.
Yeah, no, keep going.
I just want to ask Grant a question really fast. Or like anybody who has, because you seem like you're in the know about college football coaches and where you think they should go. I really like Lane Kiffin to Miami. I know there's been some chatter here and there, especially locally. Like I'll listen to. I like to listen to local radio. Like I listen to like the Fanatic in Philly. I just love hearing Philly people like get crazy about stupid shit all the time. So I love listening to local radio. And part of I know in Miami, like they want to get Cristobal, right? Is that how you say his name? Oregon's coach?
Yeah.
Yep. Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, Cuban guy, right? Do you think that's possible? Do you think Lane Kiffin in Miami? Like what are you thinking for Miami?
No, I mean, I think what the whole plan was for Mario Cristobal, if I'm just like, fan being SEC football, that good stuff, I think he would want to be the coach after Nick Saban, to be honest. That's what I always thought about Mario Cristobal, because he was obviously with Bama. He comes from that tree. He's done a good job at Oregon. He's done like enough there to prove that he's a good coach. Like I do think he kind of flounders in big games, which is kind of frustrating. It's kind of the same thing with Lincoln Riley, I guess, the big knock on him. But I don't see him going to Miami from Oregon, personally. I just don't think that's the right move for him. I think that would be a massive downgrade from where he's at. Just because, again, the Pac-12, here's the thing about the Pac-12, and it goes back to Lincoln Riley. Like, you only have to play really, really good offense, and you can kind of get away with that because, like, you don't have to have an elite defense in the Pac-12. And his defenses are for sure better than most, but, like, you don't have to have both phases of both sides of the offense and defense to really be elite in that conference. So I just don't see him going to Miami. I don't think that's like a step up in my eyes, right? Lane Kiffin, same thing. I think he's pretty happy at Ole Miss. I don't think he'd go to Miami either. That's just what I think.
I think we're going to see the same thing with Lane Kiffin that we saw with James Franklin, where he gets that huge deal. I think he's waiting on Arch Manning. I think that's the main
out of the
reason
two.
He's staying
Lane
at Ole
Kiffin
Miss.
is way more realistic to me to go to Miami than Mario Cristobal. If I had to choose one. For sure.
It is. I don't know if you guys saw that TikTok where Arch Manning does the hottie totty thing.
Yeah, with that chick.
Yeah. Which good for him.
The plan, bro. The plug.
Yeah. It will be interesting. Like, how does he? I don't know. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I definitely don't want a TikTok about me being afraid of malls going viral. You guys see that?
Yeah, I did.
I haven't seen that one.
There's like it's an incredible TikTok of him like being legitimately afraid of going.
Oh, it's not a joke.
No, like to the mall. Like he's at the mall. He's at the second story.
Yeah, he's scared of heights.
This is hilarious. Look, Lane Kiffin.
I'm not going there.
Who knows Arch Manning, right? Like, I think there's some talk that he also was like leaning Texas at some point. Like, everyone's all over the place with Arch Manning. But, like, Lane Kiffin is in a kind of a sweet spot. Unless, like I said, I could see him going over Mario Cristobal for sure to Miami if they throw him the bag. But they're going to have to put a solid price tag on it because I think he's somewhat happy at Ole Miss. It's definitely not his, like, preferred landing spot, though. Let's be honest. Like, Ole Miss is not where he wants to be, I think.
Yeah, he'll probably have to get, like 3 houses and 2 private jet access.
I mean, Miami's got it'd be interesting if Miami puts the boosters together because they're just like USC, right? I just wanted to point, just like USC was sick. It was sick. It's not a coincidence. I guarantee you, after UCLA dropped 62 points or 63 points on them, Lincoln Riley was like, I would also love access to the private jet. And
you see what I'm coming into?
I guarantee you, the AD was like, yeah, we'll give it to you, dude. Fuck this. I can't have these boosters up my ass like this anymore because UCLA just put 63 points on us. So I like, and Miami's in that similar sense where like Manny Diaz was supposed to be the guy. Manny Diaz this year was supposed to do something, especially with Derek King, which By the way, who knew Derek King was like 27 years old? And, like, I had no idea. Like, these guys have, like, they just had an extra year.
Did he serve an LDS mission trip?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, he might as well go to BYU at this point, man. Like, to fit all the stereotypes.
Dude, he just randomly just starts dating a blonde chick, has a kid.
It's a middle-aged man at this point. But I do think Miami's in that, like, and they have them and they have money. So it'd be curious to see. I don't know who they're going to get. I don't think they're going to get either or. I don't know who else is on the table. Like, if you're not going to hire Urban Meyer just from
they can have Joe Brady. Joe Brady, we'll do buy one get one free. Joe Brady, Matt Rule
for nothing.
Yeah. We'll take a souvenir cup. We don't care.
Yeah. God.
Let's talk about that Ohio State-Michigan game. Michigan finally ends the drought. You knew immediately when that game started, you're like, this feels different. It felt like Michigan was winning from the start. Anybody?
This is the year to break the streaks in college football. That's all I'm going to say, especially for teams in blue. But, I mean, Oklahoma State, Michigan, BYU, like, obviously all these massive long streaks between these rivals, they're getting it done. So it's interesting in that sense. But, man, what a game. Like, that game was just fun start to finish. It really was. But Michigan, it was a no-doubter in the sense of they earned that win. It wasn't a fluke play. I love when it doesn't come down to some, like, ridiculous, trick shot or something like that, or trick play. Like, they won on the lines, which was the most impressive thing. And that's kind of been my knock on Ohio State the whole year, is like, they haven't been super, super dominant in the trenches. And so I'm like, I don't think they're going to bode well in the playoffs. And obviously it's not going to happen anymore, but that was my whole knock on them to begin with, right? Same thing with Oregon and their quarterback play. I was like, their quarterback play is awful. Like, they're not going to be able to play in against elite defense. They're just not going to be able to compete. Same type deal. So, no, kudos to Michigan, man, breaking the streak. Since 2011, I think is the last time they won, which is very close to, to what BYU and Utah rivalry was. So it feels cool to see them break that streak. That was cool.
Shout out Bryan, shout out our guy Dylan, man.
Yeah, shout out Dylan, dude. He's been calling into the Brendan Walker College Football Show every single day, giving out picks, I think, and then just being an absolute psychopath about the University of Michigan. Like, absolute psychopath. And I rode, Carter, do you ride too? Because I rode.
Oh, no, I did
spread.
We had the delusional fan parlay. Had a nice little bit on the Duke Michigan money line parlay.
Oh yeah.
And sadly in that game, I did live bet Ohio State plus 10.5, and it did not hit. So a little embarrassed about that one. But most rivalry games end in a close game. But man,
I had an Oblos day, so I had to go with my girlfriend to to LACMA.
Hey, rest in peace. The Ligma?
Yeah, what?
LACMA, the Los Angeles Center Museum Arts. I don't know. She's not here, so LACMA. So yeah, I just call it LACMA. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it stands for, but it's like a bunch of like paintings and sculptures and shit. And I went with her and her mom, and so we went and did the whole song and dance. And at a certain point, I was like, all right, the YouTube TV on the phone is coming out, and I'm sitting down. And like, as I was watching it throughout, I like had it in the background listening, and the whole time was just like, I couldn't believe that this was happening, because I was watching like Ohio State throughout the whole season, and they were just putting people away, how they put Michigan State away so quickly. And and I've been betting on them to cover these spreads, and for the most part they've been covering these spreads. And so I genuinely thought, and Grant brings up a good point, which is in the trenches was where they were the weakest, and something that I completely like whiffed on, because I genuinely thought this team could like take it to Georgia, and I was dead ass wrong. Like, there's no shot that they would have done anything with Georgia, because I was like, I forgot. I just imagined like 49 points on Michigan State so quickly. But, it's exciting because I'm a Jim Harbaugh guy for a reason. Obviously, I'm a Niners fan, but, we'll see what happens. Like, I think Michigan to the finals against Georgia would be fun.
That'd be awesome.
I was going to say real quick, I thought it was amazing because all these bandwagon Ohio State fans, especially here in North Carolina, which is unbelievable. Like, there's so many, and they were just dead silent. Everybody was like, oh, game day, like pregame vibes and everything. They lose, nothing. Just
speaking of bandwagon football fans that were dead silent this weekend, Connor, Carolina losing to NC State.
That honestly was the worst thing I've ever experienced. I would have rather lost by 40, no doubt. The way we blew that game. Now, I will say, I'll go in a little spiel here real quick. Refs fucked us a little bit because there's a bullshit roughing the passer call that gave them a free 15 yards. Questionable pass interference gave them a spot foul. And then the clock operator for State took off at least 7 seconds.
Was Alec Nugent running the clock?
It was ridiculous. It was so obvious. I thought I was like going crazy, and I go on Twitter and people are talking about it. I was like, that's a whole extra play. Not saying we would have won. Like, we blew the game, didn't get the onside kick, sure. But just to lose in that fashion and then have all my like horrible friends that are State fans just all in my phone. Oh my God. It just hurts. But you know what? Just throw it away. Throw it away. I think maybe our defense coordinator, Jay Bateman, should be fired. I don't know how much Carolina football y'all watch this year. Spare yourself.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
The season should be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is Mac Brown done? Does he retire for this year?
No, because we have a good class coming in. The thing is, like, we kill it on the recruiting trail. He does such a good job recruiting, especially in-state. We get all the in-state recruits. But they just don't, like, something's not translating, like panning out. I don't know what it is. But no, I think he's still going to be – he'll still be the coach for the next couple of years. And I think we'll have a bounce back year.
I feel for you, man.
Sam Howell's gone, obviously.
Yeah, he's gone. He's for sure. I feel like North Carolina this year was the East Coast version of Arizona State. Like, both super, super high expectations for what they're going to do in their conference.
Yep.
And just kind of laid the egg.
We were preseason number 10, and we finished 500.
Y'all were top 10.
That is insane.
Didn't you guys lose to Va Tech like game one?
Game one.
Yeah,
they couldn't handle Enter Sandman, dude.
They lost game one, man.
Yeah, dude. Enter the Sandman.
That's what it was bad news.
That stadium
to you guys was Enter the Sandman. What's up?
That when we played Virginia Tech and that stadium was packed and like just 100,000 people.
That was a Friday night too. Opening night college football. Fans are finally back. You guys were doomed in that spot. Doomed.
Oh yeah, doomed.
Yeah.
Any other big thing? Bama should have blown it.
So close, bro. Four overtimes, man.
Grant, I've been calling that for weeks, dude.
You have. You were literally on that game, and I was dying.
Oh my gosh, Auburn's winning this game. Auburn's winning this game. I didn't touch the game or anything.
So everyone here in Atlanta is crazy about this Georgia line because it opened up at the Bulldogs -6, if I'm not wrong, and I'm sure it's going to get higher than that. But
yeah, everyone
is like hammering right now the Bulldogs, which makes me super nervous to even touch it because we all know how that goes down. I just think Nick Saban's going to have a great game plan to come out and keep it close. I don't think they win, but I think he's going to keep it close. Like everyone here in Atlanta thinking that this is going to be a blowout. I don't think that's right.
Can I ask one question? This is if somehow Alabama beats Georgia, right? Georgia still goes.
100%.
Georgia's in no matter what.
Georgia's in no matter what, right?
They're probably 4.
That's why I think Bama's the play.
Is there any way Notre Dame ends up in this thing? Obviously, if Michigan loses, but I'm saying,
gosh,
Oklahoma State has to lose, right?
Oklahoma State would have to get just hammered by Baylor, I think.
Houston might have to beat Cincinnati, too.
I was going to say Houston might have to beat Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they're putting Notre Dame that has a loss.
Well, and if all of them lose combined, then I think they should slot BYU in there.
Plus, here's the thing with the problem with Notre Dame is like the whole joke on Twitter where they're like Notre Dame should call it BYU and they should just play a game because they're not playing a conference championship game, which would be dope, by the way. We're already playing them next year, whatever. But like, we would love a return game, man. They never returned it, so I would love a return game, just because that's the only shot they have of like. There's no way in conference championship weekend, like there's no way Cincy, if they beat Houston, is anyway going to get jumped by Notre Dame. So I just don't see it unless Cincy lost, Oklahoma State lost, Michigan would probably have to lose too.
So much has to happen.
Yeah, like Michigan would probably have to lose in the Big Ten championship game. Like, I just don't see it. Like they're just sitting back hoping for chaos, and like I just don't think it's going to happen.
I just love seeing Notre Dame go to the playoffs and then just get like absolutely skulled.
The 4th seed, just lose like 30 or 40.
Yeah, just like absolutely just demolished. And you're
hold up. Right now, Brian Kelly just got hired at LSU.
No, he did not.
Brian Kelly just got hired at LSU.
He did not.
I'm going
Check
on
your
Twitter
phone right now. Check your phone right now.
No,
that is
he
nuts.
dipped out.
No way.
That SEC nuts. Money.
Dude,
LSU's
what timing? That is absurd.
That's an interesting hire.
LSU
that is an interesting hire.
To hire Notre Dame's Brian Kelly as the school's next head coach as early as tomorrow. The announcement will come. What the
Oh my
fuck?
God.
What?
He went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, what?
Dude, he must have gotten like 10 Raising Cane franchises. What?
And all of Ed Orgeron's girlfriends. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he inherits all that and all the walk-ons there, like everything.
He's like, I'm done with this Catholic thing. Like,
They're like, we got some leftover subsidy money from the government.
You know what this is?
We got in there, like whatever you.
He wants to. I think if this is like I can't win at Notre Dame. This is an admittance that you can't win at Notre Dame. That you can't get the recruits, you can't get the dudes that you can get in the South, right? Am I tripping? Am I wrong?
I don't think that's far off. I mean, I don't know.
What?
I don't know what to say. That's
crazy.
I didn't really expect that. And I'm not.
I would never guess that.
I thought it was going to be like Mark Stoops or like, I thought Joe Brady was a shoe in there.
I thought Joe Brady would be, one of the front runners for sure. But
that's wild. Anything else in college football?
Just shocked, bro. He's been there for like 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got to. Go Deeks in the AC championship.
Yeah,
Screw
go
Pittsburgh.
Deeks. Screw
Go
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about like the whole booster situation with these like schools. I think there's a lot that goes on in the background with the boosters that we don't see that coaches just get fed up with. So they're like, yeah, I'm done with dealing with, XYZ booster that just like
You have to cater
this
to
thing
every.
from me. Yeah, I think that was what was going on in Oklahoma too. That was under the radar. So interesting to see there. But man, that is that is shocking to say the least.
Wow. All right. Well, let's finish this off. Bryan, one last thing.
Can I just I just want to shout out first team, second string.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Plug the pod.
Perfect.
Plug the pod.
You can listen to us on Spotify, wherever podcasts are heard. And then, TikTok, check us out, first team, second string. And then on Twitter, FTSS podcast. Shout out to Noah, who runs our Twitter. That's all I got to say. Check us out.
Awesome. All right. Grant, Connor, Bryan, thanks for coming on. See y'all Thursday.
Sounds good.
All right, boys.
Take it easy.